Hello, this is Luis Castillo.
And Jonathan Bedoya, and this is the Great Depression of 1929.
In 1929, the Great Depression begins. There was a rapid decline in the agricultural prices in the 1920s, which was followed by the U.S. stock market crash. It threw tens of millions of people out of work, making them lose jobs, and it wrecked the prospects of rural people worldwide. Many people rose up in rebellion, rising throughout the country, embracing militaristic solutions to the nation's problems, as well as shutting down worldwide trades.
The Great Depression had many economic disasters. Banks, U.S. corporations, and millions of Americans decided to invest in the stock market, which seemed to churn out endless profits. People were confident that the stock prices would continue to rise, and they used easy credit to invest in companies based on electric, automotive, and other new technologies. The stock market crash helped spark the global economic collapse, which is known as the Great Depression. The United States had financed post-war economic growth by lending money for business development around the world. Suddenly, they had strapped themselves. U.S. financiers cut back drastically on loans and called in debts, weakening the banks and industry at home and abroad. Great Britain went off the gold standard. This meant that they depreciated its currency and increased the cost of living. Other countries blocked imports with high tariffs in hopes of sparking purchases of domestically produced goods. Measures such as cutting budgets led to reduced purchasing power and thus more business failures and higher unemployment. Depression had many social effects. Despite the negative effects, modernization proceeded. The Chinese living abroad poured money into modernizing their homeland, investing in profitable development projects. Municipal and national government modernized sanitation and running water, electricity, and sewage pipes, which were installed in many homes, and the upper class prospered during this time. When agricultural prices fell, money lenders and large landowners alike took over the indebted peasants' land. Although the loss of foreign markets such as Britain hurt many international traders, merchants engaged in the domestic trade managed to survive. A great majority of Europeans and Americans actually had jobs throughout the 1930s, which allowed them to benefit from the decline in consumer prices. Even the employed people were aware of millions of others struggling for bare existence. For example, in Cuba, where sugar prices collapsed, workers who did not lose their jobs were no longer paid, but simply fed them. Economic catastrophes strained social stability and gender relations. The collapse of prices made some Japanese peasants so desperate that they sold their daughters into prostitution. Unemployed men stayed home all day in urban parts of Europe and the US. The Great Depression disrupted the most fundamental human connections.